What's up, guys? You're listening to the Colorado Cars and Coffee podcast with me, John, Steve,
Hello. How you
Terry?
doing?
Hey,
Matt,
How's it going?
Hayden,
Hello, everyone.
and Dan.
Yo.
shut up, Dan.
Let's just drive straight to our breakfast menu of events. This week's events are this Friday, we have Tots and Tailpipes with Toys for Tots, which is a Colorado Cars and Coffee Sonic meet where we ask you to bring a new toy. It's at Arapahoe in South Lima, and it's from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Thanks, John. That reminds me that I have to go make that event on Facebook. Oops. So Friday, there's a Nightmare on Your Street. I think this is a HearstCon kind of event, but
Yeah, I
it's
do believe
both,
so.
It's both Friday and Saturday, 5 to 10 p.m. Highlands Ranch, Littleton. They have a couple different routes. Stop number 1 starting at 9291 South Broadway, Highlands Ranch at 5 o'clock. So sounds kind of cool, like hearses and those kind of cars.
Spooky.
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh.
And then, so Saturday, we got 2 events. You got, of course, Espresso and Exhaust at Vehicle Vault, 9 a.m. in Parker. It's usually 9 a.m. Sometimes it's 8, and most of you know it can be early, so check it out. And then in the afternoon at 2 p.m. is Rock for Life. It's a suicide awareness event. Highly recommend you go. It's at Single Barrel Eatery and Lounge in the Springs.
Saturday, we have Motors and Mocha. That is at 8:30 a.m. on Alameda Parkway in Lakewood.
Also, early Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Cars and Coffee in Old Colorado City.
And on Sunday, we have Loveland Cars and Coffee from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. in the Loveland Design Carpet 1 floor and home parking lot.
Shut up, Dan.
Also on Sunday, Colorado Euros meet at Colorworks Powder Coating in Centennial.
Do we have a time for that one?
That's okay.
Sunday.
Consider,
Sunday.
yeah, it just says Sunday.
Sunday.
I think it's 11 a.m.
Yeah, I do believe so.
Something like that.
If you're planning, if you're interested in attending, obviously just search
Check
out
our
that event. Yeah, check out the events on the page.
Just show up.
Yeah,
Just show up whenever. Yeah,
just show whatever. It's all
You
good.
get there early and
Yeah.
sit there all day. You'll catch it eventually.
Oh,
Yeah,
so hot import nights. Got it. Cool.
Oh, okay, good.
We are moving past that.
Yeah, we've moved past that. Dan, Subaru owners.
sometimes hot import days and nights, isn't it?
Yeah. Hot imports early morning to late at night.
Hot import Subaru.
Very good.
Parking lots and chain link fences.
Mm-hmm.
Built in Indiana. Not important.
Okay.
So let's just dig into our topics. You want to talk about this, Terry?
Yeah, I mean, and also Hayden, because Hayden's a huge F1 fan as well. But yes, it does seem now that Honda's original contract in
F1 again?
with Red Bull. Yeah, it's F1 again, Steve. Okay, so we're not going to talk about alphas all day long.
Oh, okay.
So their original contract with Red Bull Racing and their basically sister team, which is Toro Rosso, which now became AlphaTauri, it's over basically at the end of 2021. So they're pulling out.
Hey.
So yeah, it's an interesting thing. I mean, I half expected it because I already knew that they were going to have that contract expire. They only had 2 teams. Nobody else was really interested in picking up a Honda engine. Even the prospective customers that they could have got this year switched to Mercedes power. Granted, one of them was their original McLaren team that they came back to F1 with. So I didn't see that happening. But yeah, so it's interesting. I don't think it's going to hurt Red Bull in any shape or form. You know, the rules that are set down is very simple. If a team does not have an engine, the engine manufacturer that's out there that has the least customers will be obligated to supply, which is Renault, which is interesting because
Ooh,
Red Bull
yeah.
switched from Renault to Honda, and it wasn't a happy transition because they really ripped into Renault the last year that they had. So it'll be interesting to see. They're probably going to be Renault powered unless another manufacturer comes in to supply engines. The only one out there I would assume would be Aston Martin because they are going to partner up with what is right now Racing Point's going to change their name, of course, to Aston Martin Racing. Granted, Aston Martin doesn't make any engines right now. It's all AMG stuff that's in there, but it doesn't prohibit them from doing it if they would consider it. So I don't know. It's interesting to see. I don't think it has anything to really do with Honda not thinking they could win championships. They won races with that Honda engine. Okay, they have with both teams. They got podiums with both teams. I don't think it's a question that. I just think Honda looked at it and just went, rather spend our money somewhere else.
Yeah,
They've got so much other stuff going on around the world. See, Americans, we see only so much racing, but we just see what we see, you know, Formula One, NASCAR, IndyCar. If you're, you know, a little junior formula, even that's pretty obscure for us, but they are big into Super GT and Super
Yeah.
Formula. And those are big national series in Japan that get a lot of attention, and most people are just completely unaware of them over here.
So their domestic market,
It's
Japan,
huge.
Japan
Yes.
series.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
massive,
I mean,
massive. And
Super Formula
yeah,
is huge.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Just was going to say that you made some good points about the engine manufacturers. I think it's interesting that somehow Honda has become ostensibly less desirable than the Ferrari power plants, considering how they've been running lately. And
Right.
whereas the Hondas are at least theoretically capable of winning a race.
Yes. I mean, definitely. I just think it's not a big surprise to me. I just reiterate, it's not. You know, and definitely on Hayden's point, Honda is huge. I mean, Super Formula for Honda is massive, and they're committed to that. And also, let's not forget they have a 100% commitment to Indy cars.
In
So,
IndyCar, yep.
you know, and anybody who sits there and says, because I see some of the comments on some of the forums out there and some of the pages, you know, like Motorsport and Eurosport and stuff like that. Some of the comments we go, well, they're just getting out because they know they can't win a championship. Yeah, because let's just ignore IndyCar completely, you know, and Super Formula
IMSA
and all that, and IMSA.
sports car racing. I mean,
Right.
they have the global, you know, I mean, it's Acura over here, but Honda elsewhere, NSX GT3. That's a global sports car formula.
Yep.
You have and then over here with the IMSA specific DPI, they have the Acura prototype.
Right.
So
Right. So their race program is extremely successful, and that's just auto racing. We're not even talking MotoGP, which they're committed to.
motorcycle racing in general.
Yeah. Right. I mean,
Yeah.
this is it. So, you know, anybody who's out there that sits there and says, well, you know, they're just, you know, well, they won't be able to win, you know, an F1 championship. Yeah, they actually can win an F1 championship. Let's look at the plain simple facts. They came back. They had some really hard times with McLaren. And some of that's on McLaren with their insistence of not changing their chassis, which is their right because it was in the middle of race season. Like, why am I going to re-engineer my chassis to stick your motor in? Right? That didn't work out. Okay, they won over to Toro Rosso and they were very successful. Won to the main team and they won races. And it wasn't because Max, you know, got out of the car and pushed it over the line, or you know, or anything like that. That engine powered that car and got it across the line. So have a nice day. They did really well. Fact two: the regulations in F1 are changing. Right, next year it's 10% less downforce, and then that's it for the V6 hybrid era as it stands. So then it's going to change. There's more regulations, lower downforce, etc. Honda is quite prepared to be able to go into that and do battle. They just chose to look at it and say, rather spend our money somewhere else. We're committed worldwide. This was fun to do. We're done. Sometimes the nostalgia of coming back goes away, and they just go, yeah, you know what? We're okay.
I think it's also worth noting that just kind of as far as I can tell across the board, we're seeing large manufacturers start to lessen their exposure to motorsport
Yes.
just because I think of kind of macroeconomic worries.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's all it all there's a lot of moving pieces there, but I think
Yeah.
it all contributes, and it's not unreasonable for them to say, "Hey, we won some races, and now we move on."
Right. And then, for Red Bull Racing itself, whatever engine manufacturer they go with, Mercedes, Ferrari, Renault, it's probably going to be Renault. I don't see
Probably.
Mercedes. Mercedes is already committed, and they're not going to provide their number one competitor the same motor they're running. Not going to happen.
Yes, there's no chance of that.
Right.
There's a bigger chance of them getting back Honda getting back in with McLaren.
Right.
Get out of
Exactly.
here.
Right.
Which is to say, there is no chance.
Yeah, and then same with Ferrari. Ferrari's not going to give their number one competitor their engine, at least Renault. And truth be told, Renault has come a long way in the last couple of years. That car is looking pretty good. That engine's reliable, etc. So if they can mend fences, which they're going to have to do, it's going to be Renault powered again. And it'll be interesting to see because those Renault cars are actually got pretty good straight line speed. So you put that newer Renault power plant into a Red Bull, it's going to be competitive, I feel. And we'll find out in 2021. As simple as that works.
The thing is that we can never
2022.
Yeah, the thing we can never really tell is with Red Bull is that because is it just a downforce car, and are they going to take away some of that? But yeah,
which is right. And with your point on that, next year's going to tell that because 10% less downforce.
Right. But still Adrian Newey. So
yeah, exactly, and high rake because they'll never let that go.
Right.
Anyway, that's all we got on that one. So
unless anybody else has anything we didn't bring
up.
Yeah,
one thing you guys mentioned other motorsports that they're in, between MotoGP and IMSA and stuff like that. They have that collaboration that they're doing with GM right now for electric. So it'd be interesting to see if they come out in a few years and start competing in electrically driven motorsport.
Right.
Well, the next, and it's been delayed a year, just as the new Formula One regulations have been. But DPI 2.0, the next IMSA prototype, is going to be hybrid.
Yes,
and it's going to have a global formula, so those cars can race at Le Mans in the hypercar class.
Yep.
So I imagine if they're already, the Acura Penske thing is going relatively well, I think they'll continue that into the next set of regulations.
Yep. Okay. So go ahead, John. Move us to the next.
All right. I think we're on to F1 at the Nürburgring.
Wait, more F1.
Oh, more no. F1?
No way.
No.
Wow.
They're back at the Nürburgring, and not the big track.
I know. So go ahead, Hayden. Take this one, and I'll comment on you after.
I don't know. I just I mean, if anybody that talks to me for long enough knows that I am into sim racing, and the Nürburgring is my favorite track. I only have so many laps on the GP course because in a lot of races it's connected to the Nordschleife, which is the part that I really like. But I don't think it's a bad track. I think it's okay. It was built in the early 90s, not researched, 1992 or 93, I think, to bring in Formula One racing back to the Nürburgring, because of course that stopped in the late 70s after Niki Lauda's accident. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. I mean, the track is whatever to me, but most Formula One tracks are kind of that way. I don't know if you had any particular thoughts on it, Terry.
I mean, it's nice for them to go back to the Nürburgring. I mean, I was watching that race on TV when Niki Lauda crashed and burned in fire. And full disclosure, Niki Lauda is my all-time favorite F1 driver. It's that's him and James Hunt has got me in to F1. So I saw that on TV. You know, it's kind of nice for them to be back. It is on the regular track that they raced in like 2013. So, you know, if some people think it's like they're going to see something that they see on TV with like Sabine Schmidt going around the Nürburgring, you're not going to see that. You're basically going to see an F1 regulated track with runoff, safer barrier, etc., etc. You know, there'll be no carousel or any of that. It's nice of them to go back. I think I'm kind of liking the little nostalgia tour that they're doing.
Oh,
you know, and it is good because you know you're gonna have Imola this year, and they have raced there in God knows how long. Really, you know, it's nice to see that. You know, they're going to Turkey. They haven't done that in God knows how long. You know, it's all those things. So it is kind of nice to see. But you know, it's not going to be next year. It won't be there. So it's a one-off. Enjoy it. You know, it's a good track, but it's nowhere near as exciting as a Silverstone.
So
Or-
the last, right?
yeah,
Sorry. I just did a quick Google. The last San Marino Grand Prix was in 2006.
Yeah.
And somehow around that period was sticking out to me because I remember it. I remember it was a Alonso Schumacher kind of
Yeah.
year. So I'm like, yeah, probably 05 or 06.
yeah. So it'll be fun. You know, definitely. But the only thing is the fact that it is October and it is in Germany and the weather is
And it's in the mountains.
extremely unpredictable.
It's in the
Yeah,
mountains in
It's
Germany.
gonna be nice and rainy.
it's gonna be crazy.
The 24-hour was a couple weeks ago, and
Yeah.
they had some pretty. They had most of the leaders crash out in rain. Granted, I think this was overnight, but yeah, the Eiffel Mountains in Germany in October tend to get some weather. So
yes.
Yeah.
Now, this is the only time I wish they would do the old school, you know, 1960s Nürburgring race in October.
in modern Formula One
yes,
cars,
yes.
because
They'd be
Terry
flying.
wants to see some crashes.
They'd be
Yes.
flying.
Terry wants to see somebody in the top of a tree.
It's like, yeah, everybody here needs to go watch the ending of Grand Prix, the movie, and to see the old Monza and the crash.
Oh, that is a great scene. You're right.
That is a great scene.
Incredible.
But yeah, so definitely it'll be a good race, I think so. But yeah, it's kind of nice they're back, but you know, I'm
You get
okay with it.
you get two decent passing zones.
Yes, two, and
with
only
the-
two.
with turn one, and then I don't know what number it is, but
I think it's like
the chicane at the end of the
back end. I think
Because
it's like
they
9
use-
or 10 or 10 or 11.
something like that. They use a smaller chicane than the 24-hour and the sports cars. Even
Yeah.
like DTM, you will use the larger one.
The larger,
But-
yeah,
And well, DTM even uses a shorter
yeah,
configuration.
a shorter
so
configuration on a
that's-
DTM.
That's all different.
So check it out. Free practice 1 is this Friday.
Are we
All right.
going on to the next one, John?
Yeah, next one is the Luca Corberi Tantrum. It was a kart race over in Italy.
The FIA karting championships, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
So
Right.
very much the lineage of Formula One.
Right.
Well, I do believe Steve
Disgraceful.
posted it. So
Good. Yeah, it was a good. It
Good,
was quite the
Steve.
video, Steve.
yeah, go Steve.
Yeah, him. Well, I guess the setting the scene, he was punted into the barriers by the other driver. Then he picks up the wing from his car,
No, I think it was
Walks-
was it the wing or was it the front bumper?
It's the
the
yeah,
front,
the
the
front
front,
bumper, yeah.
front bumper from his car or from his cart, and then walks over to the track, waits for the guy to come around, and then pitches it at him.
He didn't
that
hit him
was,
though, did he?
It bounced off the car. It
It
didn't hit
looked like
him.
it looked like it got somebody else decently. Like
I'm about
it
to watch
looked
the
like
clip right now.
yeah. I've got the whole thing up because I was wondering a little bit more about this myself.
And
Yeah, he
then
definitely
when
hit a
they're-
cart, but I don't know if he hit a person like directly.
It didn't look like it looked like it kind of glanced off and hit someone else, but
So that was round one. And round two was in the paddocks where he found the kid. Oh, this guy, Luca, is 23,
Yes.
right? That's what
Yep.
everybody's saying.
Yep.
And
He's 23.
these are probably
They're teenagers.
20
Teenagers,
years
yeah.
old, 20-year-olds, late teens. Anyway, he went running after the kid that's about half his size and pummeled him to the ground. So there's a big melee, and then Luca's father comes running in and pounds the kid as well, I think.
Yeah,
so it
someone.
was
Well,
pretty
some
ugly.
guys, some people around pull Luca off of him,
Mhm.
and
Right.
and then it looked like that it was kind of calming down for a second, and then a fellow in black came in who
That's
the
his
New York
dad.
Post is reporting was his father. It said the Post article says Corberry attacked Ippolito in the pits, with reports emerging a man wearing a black hoodie who joins in the mayhem as being Corberry's father. So yeah, that's the New York Post.
Classy family.
Mm.
So, yeah, very nice. Who owned the track apparently.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his-
that's what I thought. His dad owned
The
the track,
family
yeah.
owns the track. Yeah.
It's always a good look to have a big, I mean, ostensibly the world's biggest karting event at
Yes.
your track, and then
Your
get in a
son throws
fight
his
with
hands in.
your
Yeah.
son gets in a fight with a kid, and then you join in.
Yeah.
It's a really nice look.
Yep.
So the post-mortem that I saw on that was that Luca said that he was going to retire, be out of racing, not race anymore.
But
Bit
we
old
already
for karts
talked about
anyhow.
this though. Remember, Steve? It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna quit when they say, yeah, no, we're gonna ban you. Like, really?
Yeah, it's the whole "you can't fire me, I quit"
Yeah.
mentality.
Mm.
Come on, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And he's also a bit. I mean, is he a bit long in the tooth for FIA karting? I don't know. I guess I didn't. 20-year-olds do this because there's so many 20-year-olds in F3 and F2. But I guess
Yeah,
there's,
I think
some guys progress slower.
right. That was kind of the thing that I was reading, that most guys don't get that, because by that age, if they haven't advanced past karting, they retire and move on to something else.
Right.
So yeah, he was a little long in the tooth. So that was part of what made that so interesting. That
Well,
mixed with the fact
he
that it was his
is-
family track.
He is now famous.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
infamous.
Infamous,
So-
even better. Yeah.
Ah,
The Post-
okay.
The Post article mentions a tweet from Jensen Button, said life ban
Yes.
for both of these idiots, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then Luca actually replied to Jensen Button and told him to calm down.
Oh, that's
well,
great.
that was
Yes.
probably a troll account, but
Yeah, probably was, but
Yeah.
I still think it's
it was funny.
so. Now I'm just checking the FIA karting regs. So basically, it's age of 12 with no upper age.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So if your
Terry,
life,
Terry and I are good to go.
yep,
Yep.
we are good to go.
All right. Hey.
Now, if we all remember the experience of indoor karting at the electric karting place with me, where I almost
K1?
suffered a massive heart attack. Yes, let's not effing do that.
I remember.
Yeah, that
It
was
did not.
not.
It did not go well for you, Terry.
No, and that's like my second or third time karting, because we did Unser a couple of times, and it was no issue. But we did the K1, and I don't know, I had a really bad day, and it just drained me to the point that I swear I was gonna have a heart attack. Now,
Well-
granted, I am not the most in shape human being. Okay, but I do work out. I go to the gym 2 or 3 times a week. And I was just amazed how much that one race I did took out of me. It was amazing.
And
So-
those are rental carts.
Yeah.
I've not gotten to race racing carts, but I've gotten to test racing carts, and they
Yeah.
are a different level from that. You are doing a lot more work. It is a
Right.
lot more tiring. I mean, I'm a little younger than you, slightly more in shape, and I was like, wow, this is a workout here. This is tough.
Yeah. So
yeah,
definitely.
I was on an
hats
electric
out.
karting team in college, and it can take a lot out of you, especially if it's a long race. The endurance part of it'll beat you up.
Yep. So
So that was a big race he was in. That was in the FIA
Yeah,
Karting World Championship.
yes, world
Yeah.
championship.
Yeah.
So big stakes.
as big as it
Yeah.
gets for karting, really. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess they do have the it's not coming. It's not. I can't think of it. The big, huge national. It's the biggest one for the U.S. is in Las Vegas every year. Hang on. Young Jamie it.
So
It's,
whilst we're
sorry.
doing, no, go ahead. If you found it.
No, I didn't. It's actually just showing me like go-karting places like the one you almost had a heart attack at.
Yeah,
Hang on a second.
that's just great.
I mean, didn't quite a few F1 drivers come up through stuff like
Oh,
that?
A lot of
Oh,
them.
Most of
Yeah.
them.
That's what
Yeah,
I thought.
almost-
Most of them come
they
up
all-
through
That's
yeah.
those
like I
karting leagues.
like I
Karting
said,
is where you start.
Yeah.
yeah, that's in FIA karting is the highest level of that.
Yes.
This is
Right.
regulated by the same people that regulate Formula One.
Yeah.
Right.
I
So
mean,
this is right. This is
basically,
the
yeah.
minor leagues.
This is the
basically,
direct. This is the
Yeah.
direct pipeline.
Right.
I mean, Lewis Hamilton came up through karting.
Mhm.
Max Verstappen came through karting.
I'm not sure anyone.
George Russell is karting. They all come from karting.
Except the only exception would be not really Formula One drivers, but more like NASCAR drivers will start in legends a lot of the
Yes.
time before
Yeah.
kart. That's about the only exception, which
Yeah.
is in oval racing. You don't, and some IndyCar guys came up in oval racing, but
Yeah.
you don't see it pretty much when it comes to European open wheel racing. Nope, that's all
it's
fed
karting.
by karting.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, they pretty much it's karting.
Oh, Super Nats is the race I was trying to think of. That's the big. That's the Super Nationals. That's
Yeah.
the big. That's the big one for the U.S.
So, and I think old Luke is done. So,
Yeah.
no
Oh,
matter
yeah.
what. I mean, there's no reason for that level of escalation. I mean, yes,
Absolutely
you're
not.
racing. Yes, the adrenaline is pumping. Yes, you're pissed off because you got punted and your emotions are high and your red mist is going. But to sit there and stand on the track with a piece of your cart and waiting
Right. Yeah.
that should be enough time to start cooling down and going to yourself, what the hell is going on? And also, why the hell are you standing on the edge of the track where they didn't like red flag it and just say, what the hell are you doing?
I think no, but I think everybody was just in disbelief and
Right.
just wondering what was
just
going on.
what the hell? And so, yes, people get mad, the adrenaline is pumping, and you do stupid shit. And you do. Okay, so maybe we can look at that one incident and go, yep, you're mad, adrenaline, you did something stupid, you're definitely regretting it. It's the follow-up incidents that says no, that you are premeditating and being a complete bag, and there's no reason for it. I mean, you can draw a comparison to, if we all remember, because I know we talked about it last night where we were just talking this over, and I
Kevin
totally
Ward
forgot.
Jr. Yeah.
Yes, that was a dirt track race with what's his name, Tony Stewart.
That's what I thought of when I saw this.
Right.
That's what I
Yes.
thought it looked like.
There's no
Same
place for those
thing.
kind of tempers in racing because that's
Right.
exactly how you end up in those situations.
I mean, he was hot to trot. He got out of his car, which is against all race rules,
Right.
on the track, and unfortunately, he got hit and he got killed by Tony Stewart. And that's a horrible thing to happen to anybody. And just to think that's what happened, and then you look at this guy, Luca, like throwing that, he could have killed that guy. He could have killed that kid. He could have killed, I'm not saying like 80 people, but let's look at this way. Let's just say he threw it, he hits the guy. At the same time, it takes out that cart, which takes out another cart, seriously injures that cart driver, which then in turn hits him because he's standing on the side of the track. Now he's seriously injured or dead.
Well, didn't the commentators say that at that part of the track they were going over 70 miles an
Yeah,
hour?
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Pretty quick.
I totally get that level of frustration and anger and red mist because everybody's had that where the adrenaline takes over, you're not thinking right. I mean, hell, Vettel did it at Baku against Lewis behind the safety car when he thought he was brake checking him.
That was good.
That was great because he wasn't being brake checked, lost his cool completely, pulled up alongside Lewis, was pointing his finger at him, then swerved directly into him and hit tires. It's like, whoa, buddy. So it does happen, but I just think that the level that ended up going to was a little far fetched, a little extreme. And then, of course, Pop's rolling on in. Like, odds are they mafia? Yes. So, it's like rolling on in. It's like, it's like,
Well,
what the?
tempers flare in racing all
Yes.
the time, but
All the time.
it's these moments that Kevin Ward also talk about motorcycle racing from a couple of years ago. Romano
Oh,
Finati,
Yes.
the guy in Moto 2 who pulled up alongside his competitor and pulled his front brake.
Yeah.
He got banned. He's actually back in Moto 3, but he got banned for 2 years.
Yes, exactly.
And these moments stick out because people don't generally take it to that point, which is
Right.
something positive.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of people who are listening. Okay, well, the 5 people that listen to us, which is the 5 in here.
That's our family.
Yeah,
People who
some
love
of them.
us.
Yeah, and someone will say, well, I've seen plenty of fights in NASCAR. Right. Normally in NASCAR, when the race is over, they kind of roll up on each other in the pits and say, F you, you put me in the wall. They usually don't run up on the active racetrack and throw pieces of their shattered car at the other NASCAR.
So now that you bring that up,
Sorry.
the whole time I was watching that clip, I was totally thinking of Ricky Bobby. I was like, oh my God, here we go.
Yeah,
Ricky Bobby.
exactly.
There was a good one. There was a good pit fight last year in NASCAR. I don't know if anybody saw it. Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin. That was
I saw that one.
I remember seeing the highlights of that. Yeah.
Oh, that was a great one because Logano just was kind of antagonizing him, and he was like, they kind of had words and were walking away, and Logano kind of pushed him as they walked away, as they thought it was over, and Denny Hamlin's a good old boy. Like, you do not disrespect him like that. And he just went at him. It was so funny.
Excellent. Okay.
All right, I guess we'll just move on to the new Subaru BRZ. What we think about that one, the spy shots.
Yeah, this is you, Dan.
Oh, I mean, that's specific.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. I know that they're stopping making the current model BRZ in lieu of this, with their nice little merger between Subaru and Toyota. So it should be really interesting. I mean, I know it got sneaked over at SubiFest. So looking at a picture of it right now, actually, and I don't really know how I feel about it. I think I forgot which one of y'all said it. The back of it just looks like elongated or weird. I can't really put my finger on it. Yeah.
Now this is a second gen, right? Because they did a facelift on the first gen.
Yep.
Okay, so this is the actual second generation.
I mean, body wise, it kind of looks the same. I mean, I think the only thing they're really adding is a turbo, I believe.
Well,
Yeah,
on
they rounded it out a little more. Like they smoothed out some of the body lines.
The back end.
The back end's where they did a lot of work.
The back
end
looks like a 2-door Impreza.
It looks Tesla Model 3-ish to me. It looks like a Model 3 with like more hips.
Right.
That's very, very odd. And even like the headlights give me a very Model 3 kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Talking visual stuff on a podcast, folks.
Yes. Look it up.
No, obviously.
Yeah, if you're listening on a smartphone,
obviously, if you're like curious what this thing looks like, you'll give it a goog. But I'm not seeing that many. I had to actually Google BRZ to get the spy shots. Toyota 86 was not coming up.
Yeah, it does not come up.
Yeah. And they're talking about right now that it's going to be making roughly the same power as the 4-pot Supra. That's what I'm reading right now, which is how they're saying. It's crazy that it's going to be really odd because it costs way less than a Supra, and it's offering the 6-speed manual. So that should be really interesting, actually.
So to the Subaru guys in here, I know that the way that the FA20 WRX motor, you cannot swap that in because of where the turbo sits. Like the turbo location is not the same. So what would they have to do with this one to make it fit, or is it just make a new car?
I think they're turboing. They're basically making a next generation on the engine that's in there.
Yeah,
I believe. Yeah.
Oh, it's the updated FA20, whatever they're going to
Yep.
call that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I know that was
Yeah.
that was the biggest complaint or ding against the 8.6 and the BRZ was that the engine just didn't have a very consistent or smooth power delivery.
Made negative torque stock at one. The torque curve would go down.
It would dip in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
and you
would
could
dip
use
in
and
the
you could
middle.
do it. You could do an exhaust in the flash tune and get rid. I mean, full exhaust, headers and everything,
Right.
but and get rid of it. But yeah, from the factory, the torque would go away from you. So
Right.
yeah,
You
it's
lose
not.
torque in the middle of the power band. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cheaper just if you got like a first gen BRZ and just thrown a turbo on it?
That's what a lot of people did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they're okay at lower levels, but even at like pretty modest levels, it seems like they would tend to pop engines. I was actually on a cruise
Yeah.
with someone that popped one time, and we were at the top of at the top of Squaw Pass, and he rolled all the way down to Idaho Springs.
Oh wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Well, I mean, think about it, right? So right now it's saying the stock motor on the BRZ is getting about 205 is what I'm reading, right? So you put a huge Garrett turbo in it, or even a moderately sized one, that it's done. It ain't happening.
Right.
Yeah, and I think it's the modern engines are just more finicky from direct compression or direct injection with higher compression and everything.
Mhm.
It's not like just throwing one on an old low compression motor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I can't wait to actually see some actual driving of it. I think that's gonna be where it's gonna make its money, especially if what they say is true.
Well, that was never the problem with the old car. It drove great. The chassis was fantastic. So yeah, as long as they double down on that, well, how are they going to lose?
Yeah, Hayden, the guys from Everyday Driver loved the BRZ and how it drove.
Well, Todd had one for a long time. So did their camera guy Chance. They both live around Salt Lake, Park City, Salt Lake City area, and they both drove them during the winter with snow tires. They put the small snow tires on their stock wheels, had bigger wheels for the rest of the year, and yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And they both had the full exhaust with no torque dip.
Oh, cool. So I guess we'll just move on to posts of the week.
Yeah, so this week I think we kind of all agreed that we didn't really see anything on the Facebook group page that stuck out at us worth mentioning, but there were a few Instagram posts that we were tagged in that I thought were worth mentioning. The first one is from Colorado M3 on Instagram. He posted up a picture of his M3, just with a nice Colorado fall foliage backdrop, and I thought it was a cool picture worth noting. Then the other one is 3400 PH 3400 PH. He just caught the photographer's only 15, and he caught a really sweet drift picture, just where the track and the car and everything is all crystal clear, no motion blur or anything. So I just wanted to shout out that picture.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, especially at 15.
That's definitely tough to do. Get a drift shot clearly composed and in focus.
Right.
Yeah, that's Larry Chen level stuff.
Yeah.
It's not
It
easy.
looks like a Larry Chen photo. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did you say, I was just trying to pull up the picture myself? Did you say it was 3400 PH?
Yes.
What was the name? Oh, it's funny. It's not. I'm not finding it. Oh well. I did find
Instagram.
Colorado M3. I know. I even Googled Instagram, but I don't know. Yeah. Sorry. I found his other pages, and he has some great stuff, but did not find the IG. Oh no, yeah, I just was trying to find his IG. I think I'm pretty sure I found the picture, you guys. Was it at PPIR?
Grid Life.
A racetrack? Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
at Grid Life
yeah.
at PPIR. Yeah, I think it's of Chelsea to Nofa. Yeah, I think I
Yep.
found it.
Yep. The BC
Yep,
Racing.
very
livery.
cool, very cool picture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I have some competition.
Keep going, kid. You'll be better than Larry Chen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely got potential.
Yeah. So I guess we'll move on to our forgotten cars, or at least cars you don't really see as much anymore. I guess I'll just start off. One, I remember at least that was around the Springs for quite a while. It was called a GMC Cyclone, and it was a truck, a small truck, got 280 horsepower, and I mean they had one in the Springs and was pretty quick. What do you guys got?
I was just going to ask. The Cyclone is a relatively similar motor to the Grand National, is it not? It's a turbo
Yeah.
V6 GM.
Yep. It was. Yeah, I think it was built by Buick, if I remember correctly. The engine was. Yeah, because they tried just turboing the 4.3 that came in the what was it, the Sonoma to begin with, but it had some issues, so they went.
Yeah, so they also had the truck version of that too. They had the Cyclone and the Typhoon.
Yeah, the Typhoon
Right.
was the Typhoon, the SUV. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So that is a good one.
Yeah, you don't see those very often. They were rare to begin with, but
Yeah,
definitely don't see.
There is
them now.
there is a fellow in Denver that has the Typhoon. The insurance guy. Help me out, Steve.
Yeah,
Dave Lowry.
Yeah,
Dave
I saw a
Lowry,
post
thank
from
you.
him earlier
Yep.
today.
Yep. So, who's next?
Oh, I've got one. One that, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing that it was forgotten, but the Hyundai Tiburon. You don't see those.
Oh yeah, no, I had
anymore.
to.
Yeah.
There were
I
a
saw
few
one
of
on the
those.
way home today.
Few of those in my high school parking lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't a bad looking car, but that front wheel drive platform and the old Hyundai reliability just kind of tanked them.
Yes.
I think they've moved to a good level now because they got the Stinger and they've been doing some impressive looking SUVs and cars.
Right. Well, yeah,
stepping it
the
up.
Tiburon kind of, I think, became the Genesis Coupe,
Oh,
but
okay.
that's on a rear wheel drive platform.
Right.
I think, yeah, this thing is
Right.
as we've gotten away from the front wheel drive, and I'm going to put it in air quotes, sports cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think things like that have died off. But yeah, like kind of on that same level, the Celica, another front wheel drive sports car.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right.
They were kind of in the same class there.
Right.
Some front wheel drive cars can be good. I think the best example would be the new Honda Type R, as far as something that's completely ready to go from factory and like a nice package. But I think they're only, with tires and differentials, they're only figuring out recently how to put 300 plus horsepower to the ground in a front wheel drive.
Right. I remember when the Type R kind of first came out, and Honda was getting a lot of crap for not making it all-wheel drive, and they basically said they were only going to do front-wheel drive just kind of as an FU to everybody else.
And it turns out it's very good because
Right.
if you have good tires and a good diff, and and you make everything as a nice package, was our first conversation. Honda knows racing, so
Right.
Soichiro Honda was in racing very, very early when he built his motorcycle company back in the day. So they've always had that in their blood.
Right.
So is it me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I guess nobody else is. I will go with the Opel GT, which is a car that my stepbrother has. Pretty nice example. I don't know what the color is called, but it's the kind of very 70s orangish yellow kind of color. But only drove that car once. Didn't get to drive it in a very sporty setting, but I remember around town it was extremely agricultural feeling.
You got a handle in the car to flip the headlights, right?
That's true. That's
Yeah, big
true.
old handle.
And there's actually a wiper pedal as well. There's a
Mhm.
fourth pedal to operate the wipers. So
See that.
it basically, if anybody hasn't seen one, it basically looks like a mini 70s Corvette. It looks like if you just shrink that down a little bit.
Yeah, it's like a
basically
C3.
what you got.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like a smaller C3. And don't the headlights, most people think of pop-up headlights and they move. I'm trying to think of how to describe this without
The front of the headlight, the leading edge comes upward.
Right. It comes. You're right. It comes
in a
upwards. These roll.
Miata, in a Ferrari.
Right.
Yeah.
These roll like doing a bit like the light is doing a barrel roll basically.
It does
Yeah.
do a barrel
Yeah.
roll.
It does
Yep.
do
Right. The rotation of axis, the rotational axis is parallel to the direction
Yes.
of the car.
Just imagine you could drive that down the road, hit that button over and over again, just go do a barrel roll, do a barrel roll.
no.
So
All right, I guess I'm up.
Yeah, go.
Being the Subaru fanboy, I'm gonna say the
Christ.
Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8. I'm so glad that this was left in the past. Not a huge fan of it. I mean, the engine phenomenal. Everything else dumpster fire. Absolutely dumpster fire.
really, because isn't that the car that I can't remember if it was Clarkson or
10.
well, no, because the 8 was because that's when we got that. The 8 was the first one.
The
that
8 was
we
the first
got
one
in,
we got
in
here
the in the
States,
U.S.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I thought that I don't know
He
if
liked
it was
it.
I don't know if it was Jeremy Clarkson or somebody else said that this is a maybe it was later. It was much
He
later
said
on.
it was like the only acceptable yob, like at the time. Like
Oh yeah,
yeah.
but somebody said that it was like $40,000 drivetrain with a free car on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's well over $30,000.
A 40, I said.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised that you thought that the running gear wasn't good because I always thought that was conventionally was something that was pretty good in those days.
Oh yeah, for those days, yes, absolutely. Sorry, I'm comparing it to now where I'm like,
But
no.
Subaru also in those days, I know those old, and I don't know Subarus, but I
Mhm.
know those 0405 STIs could put something like 90% of the torque to the rear. I mean, that's pretty good. And I don't think they could even do that later.
Was that
Yeah,
the Bug
well-
Eye or was it the generation after the Bug Eye?
No, not the bug eye, the blob eye is
The
what they
Blob
call
Eye.
it.
Yeah, that was right
0405.
after. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only,
Right.
yeah. Well, I mean, was it the 5-gear manual transmission too? You know.
That's true.
Yeah.
And they even continued that with the 10. That's what was bad about
Mhm.
about Mitsubishi and the Evo. They were like, nope, 5 gears is good enough for. Sorry, it's like okay, don't
they didn't want it-
necessarily
Yeah.
want to buy the MR just to get a 6-speed.
Yeah. They didn't want to adapt, and that kind of bit them in the ass, unfortunately. And Mitsubishi pretty much said that they're done. They're not making any more ever. They're
They're only
out of that
making
market.
SUVs now.
Yeah, they're out of that market now, which is
So
kind
it's-
of upsetting because I mean, don't get me wrong, even though I'm not a fan of them, they're still pretty good cars overall, you know.
Well, internationally, they do really well, and they also make air conditioners and all kinds of stuff not related to cars. I was gonna say though, if I could make one call, and granted, I know it's always tough to tell what cars are going to appreciate. I mean, we see like these cars on these crazy, they have these crazy runs that can
Mhm.
1.5, 2x the stock market over 10, 20 years. And I think I will make a call here. Sorry that you don't like it, but the Evo 9 MR, that is going to be a valuable car in the future for low
Oh,
mileage, like
When's the last time
unmolested
that they
examples.
dropped? Yeah, when's the last time that
Oh.
dropped in value? That's
No,
definitely.
It's
Yeah.
holding
It's pretty-
steady now,
yeah.
and I think in the future will be very, very good.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And don't get me wrong, I love the Evo 10. I love that. 9's
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a different car.
yeah, different car, but the 8, it's just I don't know, just something about it. Every time I see it and I just like read the specs on it, I don't like it
See,
personally.
visually, I like the 8 more than the 9.
Yeah, visually that looks nice.
Yeah.
But everything else, I'm just like, no, like why?
Well, the 8 and the 9 was very similar. I think might be thinking of the 10. Was the
Maybe
No.
was the
The 8
different
and the
body
9.
style change?
I think
The
the
10
big difference.
the 10 is more boxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 10 is the boxy
I go
one.
back and forth on whether I like the 10. But no, I know the 8 and 9 are similar, but there's just little things about the
Little
8
small
that I
subtle
like.
differences. Yeah,
right.
It's a facelift.
By the time people put body kits and stuff on them, they're almost
All the same.
indistinguishable. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I
Right.
mean, it's the same thing with Subaru. It is what it is.
Right.
But yeah, not a fan of the 8, but all the other ones I love personally. Really good cars. So don't try to kill me, Evo
It's
boys.
always really nice, and I have seen a few in the Denver area when you see a one of the old ones on the street, like a 4 or a 5. I think
Yeah,
I
I've
even
seen-
saw
I've
somebody
seen-
with a 6, which was probably pretty not legal.
Yeah. I've seen a 5 floating around here and there.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it was a 5.
What is-
I don't know I don't know the old.
What was it? can't remember what it was.
Yeah, they were
Right
changing
field.
platforms like every 2 years or whatever in the 90s. There were so
Right.
many that
Yeah,
were just like
there's so
That
many.
was
They're just
all
4,
about-
5,
pumping
and
them out.
6.
It was all about winning rallies.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's tragic about that card getting discontinued is it had such a long run in or a good run in rally, and then
Tommy
it
Mackinnon.
just dropped off. They're like, "Yep, we're done.
Yeah, and
Yep.
We're done
That-
making
that
good
was-
cards."
that was probably the most upsetting thing about it is that they just cleaned up shop. They're like, nope, we're done. Like overnight. Like there's no slow progression into it. They're just like woke up one morning, had a board meeting, and someone's like, you know what? Let's just make SUVs.
I will
Right.
say I do hope that if they are done with the Evo, they let the Evo die and they don't try to bring it back as an SUV like they did with the Eclipse.
Right.
Oh, that would be the
Oh, that
worst.
would be brutal.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
Yeah,
And
that hurt me physically when I saw they were bringing back the Eclipse badge as a family SUV.
imagine getting gapped by that.
Whole kids. It's
What
moving
other
forward. That's moving
what-
forward.
What other obscure cars do we have? Who hasn't done one yet?
It's Steve and I now.
Terry.
I've got one. The Lotus Carlton.
Oh, that is obscure.
Yeah.
One that you hear
Yeah.
about every now and then. Yeah,
So
that's
who here on-
definitely a good obscure one.
Who here on the podcast has not heard of the Lotus Carlton?
I have
No
heard of it,
hands.
but I'm not drawing a like I can't visualize it. I can't remember what it looks like, so I'm gonna pull it up.
It literally looks like I mean,
Yeah, that's
A
right.
late
Yeah,
80s, early 90s
Yeah.
DTM car.
it's not what you would
Yeah.
expect from a Lotus. You're right. It's not
No,
something.
no,
you
no.
would
No,
expect to be as Lotus.
it's a 4-door saloon.
Right.
Yep.
Rear wheel drive, front engine, 380 horsepower, twin turbo with Garrett turbochargers, i6
Mhm.
cylinder.
Opel i6. Yeah.
It was
Yep.
an Opel engine. Interesting.
It was
Yeah.
also called the Opel Lotus Omega. That was the other
Mhm.
name. It came in only one color, Imperial Green. It was very similar to BRG or
hmm
British Racing Green, but just a super saloon. I don't want to talk about the Alpha much, but it kind of reminds me of the 4-door Giulia with
the look
mm,
is very,
the-
very similar.
the look, the power, a lot of things like that. 176 miles per hour top speed. Handled Lotus tackled the suspension as well. And they're starting to climb in prices, of course, because they're kind of rare.
So two things. One, it's a straight six from what I'm reading.
Straight six,
I
yeah,
think you're right. Yeah.
Yep,
3.6
straight six.
liter engine.
And also, can we talk about those awesome headlight little wipers? Those are pretty cool.
Headlight wipers are always cool.
Yeah,
That
they
just
are.
goes without saying. That's like a car that shoots flames. Like it's just always cool.
True.
Yeah, it says
Um,
here it was the same chassis as the Holden Commodore of the
Yeah,
era.
so it was a GM. It was a G.
Yeah, it was a GM.
chassis.
Yeah, it was a
So
GM
that's
chassis.
that's the Opel Connect. Yeah,
Mhm.
with the Opel engine. So
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
technically a Vauxhall Carlton,
right.
and then it off it
Interesting.
went to Lotus.
Well, Lotus was doing a lot of this in that period. There was
Lotus
a lot of
always
handling by
they've
Lotus.
always done this.
Yeah.
And
Let's-
because
let's-
of the GM underpinnings, it had the ZF or the 6-speed that was in the Corvette ZR1
Uh-huh.
as well.
Yeah,
So,
I was
At the
just
same
about to say
time.
that. I was looking at that. I was like, yeah, they
Yeah.
put the ZF in there, and a limited slip differential from Holden.
yep.
So yeah, Lotus is notorious for this. Let's not mention the Lotus Cortina.
You
Right,
should check out
right.
some of the
That was another
videos
one.
of this car in action. It's pretty impressive.
I imagine there's some very cool racing versions.
Oh, guaranteed,
So
guaranteed.
All right, Terry, what
is
what
it
you
Terry?
got?
It's
Yeah.
me. All right, so nothing exotic here at all. So a Ferrari 288 GTO.
Oh, that's not that forgotten.
Yeah,
The
and
first
most people-
GTO.
No,
The first.
not.
The first.
this ain't the first GTO. This is
or
the
not,
Ferrari.
I'm sorry, not the first GTO. This was the first like real like Ferrari Halo car. This was like the what started off the lineage of like the F40, F50, Enzo, and those. This was the first
Yeah.
of those. So in that way,
It is very forgotten because once the F40 came out, a lot of people forgot that the 288 came out before that because in theory it was supposed to be made for that new Group B circuit race series in the 80s. Okay. So it was gonna, limited model run, twin turboed. It's same engine that was in the 308, then mounted longitudinally and used up all that trunk space in what the 308 had. Amazingly, it had trunk space to lay those twin turbos in. So yeah, honestly, a lot of people forgot that a 288
I guess so.
existed.
Sometimes
That's
I forget how much of a dork I can be
Yes, exactly.
about cars like that.
Because
It's like,
once,
what? You don't know 288 GTO?
right,
Right. What we
because-
remember, everyone else may not remember.
Right,
necessarily.
that's the whole
You're right.
point.
No, you're right.
Because
you're right.
this was a limited run,
Uh-huh.
just so it could satisfy the Group B. And
Right, it's a homologation car.
Yep. And then right after this, the F40 came out. So
Mhm.
in reality, this was like a test bed.
The really interesting one really interesting part about the 288 GTO to me was always how not that different it looked from just a 308.
From the 308,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not that fun. There's if you know, it's got those
Yeah.
lights on. It's got those extra lights on the
And
front of the
it's
bumper.
a little meatier. It's
little meatier,
Yeah.
a little wider, but
Yes.
by to the layman's eye, you're just gonna think that's like, oh well, that's like the same car,
Right, at a passing glance, it looks strikingly similar to the 308.
which is
So-
not a terribly expensive car.
No.
Right, pretty one of the more attainable Ferraris.
Yeah,
While
for
we're on
good
this
reason,
subject,
but
While we're
Yeah.
on this subject, I would like to say, I miss Nakaducks on cars.
oh
It's
yeah,
just such a good look.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Airplane parts, man.
yeah. No, cars need
What-
more Nakadocs, please.
Oh yeah.
What kind of
So-
horsepower are we talking on the 288 GTO?
Oh, that thing it's like
The
what?
twin turbo,
It's
so-
turbo. Yeah, it's twin turbo, but it's a V8. It's a 2.9
2.9 liter.
V8. So
It was in like the
395.
300s, I believe. Hang on,
Yeah,
one
this was
second.
No,
also the
it's
80s.
I have it.
Or-
It's 395,
oh,
kids. It's 395.
Oh, is it?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
395.
I'm looking at something different.
Yeah, that's why they twin turboed it so it could get up there. So, and 5-speed manual, of course, gated.
Right.
So I mean, really straight out. I mean, you don't see them that often for the simple reason of the low production numbers. And then a lot of people confuse them with a 308 because you got to know your eye. And then when the F40 came out, everybody's F40, F40, F40. Well, F40 is a pig compared to this car.
Oh, I don't know about
In what
that.
way? In what way?
Okay,
let's let Terry go on this one.
No, because the F40, yeah, it has its looks, it's this and that. But this was specifically built to be a race car. Specifically. The F40 in theory was, but it has heavy steering, doesn't handle as well, and it is slightly overweight. And if I had
It
the
is
choice,
a bit heavier. You're right.
yeah, if I had the choice, it would be a 288 GTO. It wouldn't be the F40. And I have driven an F40. So
Really?
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see from a
do tell.
driving perspective, you'd.
I drove one in California. There's a Ferrari restorer by my sister. I won't say exactly where they are because they have some. Yeah. So I go down there and I talk to the owner. I talk to some of the guys because I love Ferraris. And one day he said, "Well, we got an F40 and let's go for a drive." So he drove me and then we pulled over and he says, "Go ahead and take it." And we drove around Hermosa Beach, down PCH, etc.
That's
So
cool.
in traffic, shit. It's
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's
Oh.
not where you want to.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
not where you want it. It's
you
but
about
you
have
know,
a heart attack driving that car?
nope, as it wasn't an electric powered K1 freaking cart. So there you go. So I mean, honestly, yeah, I would take this over, and and also some of it's just the unique look on it. Yes, it does have that 308 look, but there are differences.
Right, to the
And
trained eye. To the trained eye, there's differences.
It has some meat to it, and I kind of appreciated that 1980s like bulgy Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of meat look, like look at me, kind of like a big dog right here. It's fun. So yeah.
So looking at some stats, only 272 were made.
Yep. That's
Wow.
the fit, the homologation. So
Man,
they
So
could get in there.
significantly more rare than the F40. I want to say
Yeah.
there's 1,000 F40s or something
Something
close
like
to
that.
that. Yeah.
So yeah, to me that's it's forgotten.
I do remember Sotheby's auctioning one off a couple years ago, and I think it was this one went for 3.36 mil,
Well, let's see.
which is more than that's a very nice F40 price. It's like medium to like high end on the 40 spectrum.
This era of Ferraris just has so much style. I mean,
Yes.
all the different curves. Like Matt, you were saying the Knockadux.
Oh yeah, I'm a sucker for
the interior with the leather. It's just wow.
Well, these
I
cars
love the
were
simplicity
these were functional homologation race cars.
Yes.
So they're very bare bones, no extra insulation, nothing. You're buying a race car.
Right. That's one of the things I love about the F40 is the interior and that
minimalist.
simple,
Yeah, exactly.
carpeted.
It's very simplistic, which is very clean.
So if we want, we can all buy one.
Mhm.
This one right now is only $3.1 million.
When you
Okay.
say all buy
Bills
one, you mean
or
all
Matchbox?
go in together?
Yes, all go in
We
together.
plan
Try to
Z.
buy
We
one?
plan Z 288 GTO.
and this one is it's an 84.
Mhm.
Believe it or not, it's in used condition.
No.
Yes.
Really?
I cannot
Wow.
believe it's in used condition.
Well, I
And
thought it
it's
was going
in
to be brand new.
Why would
Yes.
I pay $3 million for a used car?
I don't know. I really don't know, but it's in Austria.
Okay. Good place to drive.
So Autobahn.
Autobahn and the mountains.
Yeah.
I love driving through Austria, through Brenner Pass. Spectacular.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just always liked how it was. It's just the way it was, and the styling of Ferraris at that time are very, very nice. So, yeah, to me, this is like forgotten because the average Ferrari person, that would look at Ferrari would no clue that this car existed. The F40 sucked all that up.
Right.
As soon as that thing came out, you had,
Yeah.
So
Well, it's just such a revolution in design.
Of
this
course.
is still very, very 70s Italian.
yes, so something to be said.
Which is a great aesthetic, but
Yep.
late 70s is very different from late 80s and like the kind and the stuff that
Exactly.
they were coming up with into the 90s. Very different.
Yep. So there you go. That's mine.
All right. I like it.
Sweet. Okay. So
Awesome. Well, we should tell our listeners that this podcast is sponsored by Terry, who will mention our sponsor.
So we'll do that one right now. So yes, we do have the podcast today was a shout out to one of our sponsors, and this would be New Image Paint Protection. So yeah, basically they do offer paint protection as well as protection film and window tint. Okay, they also do offer paint correction as well and ceramic coating services. So definitely check them out. Their website is www.newimageppp.com. So www.newimageppp.com. So definitely check out New Image.
Very good. I'm excited that we have a sponsor.
Yes, well, we have several, and
It's
just
amazing.
to finish off,
for the podcast specifically, the pages has had sponsors for a while.
yes.
But.
So, and then just so we know, there's a 15% discount on a clear bra and 10% on window tint services for our members.
Good
Awesome.
stuff. Get that. Got to get that tent in Colorado.
That's right.
Can't be driving around in a fishbowl.
That's right.
Right.
Year after year.
Get skin cancer.
Ceramic for the win.
Oh yeah, I have a 5 all the way around and 50% ceramic up front.
Yeah.
I have I have 0 all around.
Yeah, same here.
What the hell? Y'all are wild.
Well, I have a convertible, so
Oh wow. Okay.
I just
There
like
you
to be
go.
able to
blacks
see.
out his window.
yeah,
I just prefer not to be able to see at night. Kind of just go with
good.
it.
I actually don't need tint for that. So
That's reassuring.
you just have your advanced age.
Yeah.
exactly right.
That's
Goddamn people in headlights, y'all suck.
We just want to remind our listeners that they can, of course, check out our Instagram at CO Cars and Coffee, our Twitter, our YouTube page, Facebook group, and of course our website, coloradocarsandcoffee.com for the upcoming events and the local car community chat. Is there anything else you guys want to say, or should we just wrap it up here?
Well, y'all have a good night.
Just
feel good with that.
Yeah.
one more
Yeah.
plug.
Okay, one more plug.
The Sonics that we're doing throughout October and November.
Mhm.
We are gathering toys for kids. So Toys for Tots. So please bring a new unwrapped toy when you come, and just look for one of the admins. Usually we'll post who's going to be collecting, but go find that person and drop it off, and we'll try to help out some kids this year. This year has been terrible. So if we can bring toys to kids, that's a great thing. So just a quick last plug for that.
Good
Right.
stuff.
Well, it's time for us to grab our coffee and hit the road. That's it for us here from Colorado Cars and Coffee. See you down the road, everyone.